Hi there, guys. This is Michael. I've got myself another update of my Championship Manager save for you. It is now fresh into 2008, and we are now in uncharted territory. There is only one Newcastle manager who's managed more games than me in history, and that is Joe Harvey. I've got about 250 more games to manage before I get to that level. But yeah, and I'm also the third longest serving Newcastle manager in history as well. So I'm breaking new ground. If anyone's curious though, like Stan Seymour managed the club for about 19 years, but there was obviously a war in between all that, so not a lot of football got played. But if I could last that long and wind up Alan Kirbishley levels of I was going to say legend, but he's not really. I mean, I'm sure he's a legend to like plenty of Charlton fans, but he didn't do much beyond that, did he? But yeah, my reputation's getting up. So I'll fill you in on what's happened in the last couple of years since I last filled you guys in. Previously, we were very much all about the cup runs, and as a result, the league form died a death. You can see there, that was the season before last. We got an unwanted record of the lowest finish, and that was 11th. It's the kind of position that probably would have saw my job go, but luckily we've also had some not exactly cup success. I won obviously the FA Cup last time you guys saw me. That got me Manager of the Year for some reason, so obviously that like bolstered my reputation as well. But yeah, in terms of that season, we've not been setting Europe alight. You'll see we've got a gap there where obviously we finished 11th, so we didn't qualify for Europe, which was a bit of a blessing because it means there's more time to rest. And yeah, you get things like FA Cup semi-finals and quarter-finals that, excuse me, that I've just about managed to keep my head above water. Again, wow, yeah. Last year I didn't do much in the League Cup, did I? Okay. But yeah, the year that we finished 11th was also Alan Shearer's last for the club. He played okay. He'd got about 30 goals in his last season, and then he started to mess me about a little bit with his contract. Originally, he was saying that he wasn't really interested in signing at the current time, which to me at the time I thought to myself, he's going to retire. He's going to bow out. This is going to be his swan song. And then his contract ran up, and he wanted more. Well, he wanted more than Newcastle could give him, or rather, I put an offer on the table, and he decided that we could meet his demands. So he leaves on a sour note, but that's okay because we replaced him. Anthony Chandran, who he's not a regen or anything, he's actually an original player, and I'm quite surprised. He didn't look especially good, but last year we finished 7th, and it's partly due to the way that this guy just took off. And you know, he's gone from strength to strength. He's maybe not as prolific as Alan was in his prime, but he's the best option that we've got up front. You'll notice here as well, guess who's back? Yeah, Mark Kerr. After messing about in Italy for far too long and not really getting the opportunities, brought him in loan a few years back, and now he's back 4 years later. I mean, come on, 1.8 million. That's just great to get him. Yeah. You'll notice the squad's a little bit thin. That's mainly just because that's how I manage, and I want to have the slots there to bring in some young talent. And we've got some young talent. Mark Cobb, he is alright. Liverpool were showing an interest. They put a bid down for 2 million, and I told them no thanks. And you know, if you're a young player and you don't quite know how they're going to work out, one thing that has surprised me is we have 5 goalkeepers. Oh, sorry, we have 4 because I've just sold Kiotis, haven't I? Yeah. We're in a situation here where he was the first youth prospect that came through that actually looked relatively good, and you know, for a goalkeeper, he's got some good stats, and he's young, so that's great. And if he doesn't work out, we've got a plan B. And if he doesn't work out, we've got a plan C. So yes, we are the place to come for goalkeepers. And Shea Given's in the reserves now because I prefer the kids. Sounds a bit controversial, but there you go. New guys that I brought in, again, I'm still trying to sort out this defensive conundrum. I'll go back to our league history actually, and I'll show you just how bad our defence is. Look at that. Yeah, that year where we finished 11th, first time that we've actually got a negative goal difference, which is something to watch out for. And you can see this year we've had a little bit of a turn in fortune. Yeah, halfway stage of the season, and we've lost 3 matches, which is pretty good. But I don't know if I can catch Leeds. I've beaten Leeds, which helps. I mean, it's only a 5-point swing, but I don't honestly know if we have enough. But if I get Champions League football, I would be absolutely delighted. It's probably the first time in a while where we've found ourselves out of the cups, like at a really early stage. And again, I think some of that's down to injuries that we get. Like Alan Navarro, he tends to get injured a fair bit. So does Michael Carrick. James McFadden's not too bad. And if they don't get injured, they also get suspended as well. What's Dolan? Oh yeah, right. Joe Dolan, he started like an absolute beast. He scored 4 goals this season. 3 of those goals came in the first 3 games of the Premier League season. He just got on the end of crosses and just headed them home. And I really hope that he keeps going and it's not a false dawn. Marvin Andrews, yeah, that again, that's kind of the problem. Even if Dolan was kind of showing things up, he needs a partner. I've still got Davidas, who he's doing okay, but I think his rating's so high because I've been playing him as a defensive midfielder, mainly to cover Navarro or Dawson or somebody. So it's quite mad. I mean, all these other stats just look. He looks like a 34-year-old. And I do wonder at some point I'm going to have to try and replace him. Back at Efioglu, he's turned a corner. He's looked pretty decent. Oh, his stats aren't great, but I suppose he's one of these goal scorer midfielders that's just took off a little bit. And my record signing, but not the club's record signing, is Simon Davies. I had some problems with midfield, and I've always been on the lookout for creative players. So I spent big for Simon Davies, and he's doing well. I mean, 12 assists last year. He's already up to 8 now, and it's a halfway stage of the season. So he could do really well. Brought in Mamadou Zongo as well. He's another player that likes to get goals from midfield, just behind the front man. Unfortunately, it's keeping Canute out of the side, but Canute still looks decent. I was going to use him more in Europe, but we're out of Europe, so there you go. So yeah. Oh, we lost in the FA Cup as well. Yeah, we are literally. We have just We've got one horse to back, and it's the Premier League, which hasn't happened for some time. So we'll have to see how that happens. I would like to go for the title, but again, I don't think Leeds are going to be caught. I could be wrong, but I do like the fact that I've only lost 3 games all season in the league, especially the way that started previous seasons. Oh, brilliant! Spurs in there, bottom 3, good. Yeah, Grimsby have done really well to actually stay in this league. Like, how long have they been? They've been here for like 4 years. Yeah, look at that. That has been outstanding, really, for 5 years. And they could make it 6. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else to show you guys before I sign off. In terms of Alan Shearer, he didn't retire. He left the club because obviously I couldn't renew his contract. I would have liked to. I put an offer down for 60 grand a year, and he turned his nose at it. And then for the next year, he did bugger all. Congratulations, Alan. Enjoy your holiday. Now you're in Spain, scoring goals, but kind of performing terribly. Yeah. Sorry, Alan, but you kind of did it to yourself, really. Yeah, so he's still a coach. I had a bit of a backroom staff clear out as well. So I brought in a few new assistant, new coach, and a new scout. It's something that I've been kind of neglecting, but I feel like I might as well invest in it, especially if I've got all this money that I'm not truly spending on players that much. I tend to just invest more in youth now, really. It's not that there's not obvious problems with the playing squad, it's just that I don't seem too clued up on the transfer market. Like every window, I see clubs go in for players that I didn't even know were available. I tend to do my business over the summer and then leave it at that, unless I really need players in. Let's see, who went out this year? Yeah, so James Coppinger. It's a bit of a shame about him, but to be fair, he's one of those players that there's a level that he hits, and he's just going to get left behind at Newcastle. He's had a reasonable enough attempt. I was thinking he should do well at Swansea, but he's just getting used as a substitute. Kyotis. Oh, he went to Portsmouth. Alright, let's see if he keeps them up. Yeah, he was just kind of getting sparingly used here this season, but that's mainly just because we've got the three young goalkeepers that can fight amongst themselves. And it looks like Hargreaves kind of settled there. Yeah, that's kind of it. Andy O'Brien had a bit of a renaissance last season. Somehow got 21 games. But every time you see a defender that I'm managing, you can kind of tell that none of them are especially great. None of them are really performing out with their skin. They're like either just the right side of good or just the right side of bad. It's all just so kind of unpredictable. And it still shows with our goal difference, really, because we're still conceding tons. But at the start of the season, we had an 12 game unbeaten run, which is a new club record. The previous record was last season when we got 11 straight wins, which powered us to 7th place in the league and got us some European football. But it's nice to have a different focus. It's all about the league, and we're going to fail, but it's going to be fantastic. So I'll see you guys next time, hopefully with some good news. Ta-ta.